You're
All right, cue the music.
Cue it up. Cue it up. PQ it up.
what up? What up, fam?
What up? What up?
QP it up. QP. You don't like it.
All right, go ahead. Do your intro.
Mine? Or where's the intro? We need the actual intro, no?
No,
40 seconds and counting.
Just let it be organic, dude. That's what you wanted, right?
All right. Well, hello everybody. Welcome. Welcome back. You know, I'm finally back after 2 weeks off. So this is your host, Danny. I got Zach right here. We got PQ down there, and Kyle down in the corner. Joining us today will also be our picks idiot. Our picks.
After last week, I used to call me an idiot.
No, I meant to say picks expert. Sorry. And then
What the hell?
right here, Francis.
That's why you don't do that before the show.
Yo, what's up, bro? Yeah, you can call me the sports idiot for last week's performance, but you know, I'm the sports pick guy. So thanks for having me, guys. I'm glad to finally be live with y'all.
Yeah,
Let's go, Slava.
Brady Bunch.
Yeah, man.
So first things first. Whoa, Zach, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna go over today?
Oh, for sure. Well, today we're going to start off with the debut of our picks expert, Slava, for Cave Picks. Then we're going to run through the NFL. We're going to go over the Super Wildcard Weekend recap with the winners of the wildcard matchups this past weekend, including the top performers of the weekend. Then we're going to roll right into the playoff landscape, talk about a couple games or all the games coming up and how it's shaping up. Then we're going to transition to the MMA, do a little update with Source Glory on the MMA topics to talk about for this week, and we'll finish it up with some wrestling talk with Abra and myself. So let's get rolling.
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
So let's talk picks, man. So
Yeah, man, last week was really rough, guys. I apologize to the community if you followed. But yeah, it's just one of those weeks, man. You just gotta take your wins with your losses. So yeah, we can start off with this little recap action. I know first game of the slate, we had the Seahawks versus the Niners. I knew Seahawks. I knew the Niners were going to win. I didn't think they're going to win in that convincing of a fashion with a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. But, I was wrong. So they got their ass whooped. Geno Smith is whack. Niners are the real deal. I hope it's a Niners-Eagles NFC championship game. So, yeah, I don't want to talk about this one too much because I was like one of those blowout. My pick wasn't even close. Like, it's not like Seahawks didn't even lose by 11. They lost by like almost 20. So it is what it is. Yeah, man. Zach, what happened with the Niners, man? Like, what do you think went right with Brock Purdy? And obviously their defense is lit, but being a Niners fan, like, what do you think? How do you feel about going into the next round?
Honestly, I'm kind of apprehensive about the next round. I'm a little bit nervous. Cowboys, when they're at their peak, they're tough to beat. It's I'm excited at the thought of eliminating the Cowboys 2 years in a row from the playoffs. Like, that's very exciting to me. But man, they got some serious weapons on offense. The way they played on Monday last night, it was not good in terms of like how I feel going into this game. I was hoping they were going to get roughed up a little bit more by the Bucks, but the Bucks showed no fight. So
yeah, dude.
I think it's going to be a good game, honestly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I feel the same way. I'm rooting for the Niners for sure, man, because I hate the Cowboys. So rooting for the Niners.
That makes 3 of us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's go Niners.
Yep.
The whole group.
All
Let's
right.
go.
So the next game, Jaguars versus Chargers. I picked Chargers money line. I was super confident. Again, like rookie. Trevor Lawrence, not a rookie, but second-year quarterback. Not a lot of wild card playoff experience. Yeah, I know he's a winner from college, but I just thought Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, and Keenan Allen would do their thing. And shit, in the first half, I was already taking like tequila shots because I already counted that as a win. And then I sat there on my friend's couch as a drunk football fan, seeing all that unfold. It's just so crazy. I can't even put it into words. I mean, it went from the loudest house in the first half to the most quietest living room you could find, because everyone, including not just me, but I had two other buddies who also put money on the Chargers, and we have Chargers as a future Super Bowl winner too. So that's immediately gone. So that was rough. That was definitely rough to watch.
That was definitely rough.
I'll say it wasn't rough to watch. It was a good thing for me to watch, honestly. As a Broncos fan, I mean, we didn't make playoffs, but seeing the Chargers lose in that fashion was amazing. So thank you, Jazz.
I can
You're
see
just
that
a bad human being, huh?
I can see that from.
I am.
You like to see your friends get mad, huh? Okay, cool.
It's all love.
I know.
All right.
But yeah, let's not talk about that one too much. So the next one, we got the Bills versus Dolphins. I chose Bills minus 13.5. The money line was too crazy. It was like minus 1,000. I'm not putting $1,000 to win 100. So I thought without Tua and Bills being the Bills, I thought they were going to come out firing. And at first they did. They were up 17-0 at one point. And I was very confident. And then all of a sudden I was at work while this game was going on. So at halftime, it was like 24-20 Dolphins. And I was just like, well, not sure how the Bills are going to take this to the next level. But they found a way to win. Unfortunately, the underdog covered. So usually with those big lines, if it was regular season, I would normally choose the plus 13.5 if Tua was healthy and given the circumstances. But I just thought DeMar Hamlin, that whole situation, I thought Bills would just come out a lot stronger. But, they still got the dub, so that's all that matters to them, but not good for my pockets. So it is what it is. You feel me?
I hear you, man.
Feel you.
I thought so too. I thought Bills were just going to come and steamroll the Dolphins, but that wasn't the case. And it makes you wonder, like, are Bills serious in this playoff contention? So, seeing the Dolphins come back like that with the rookie quarterback, it makes you question, how's the Bills defense going to do, especially if they make it to the championship game against the Chiefs.
Man. I'm kind of looking forward to watching that Bills-Bengals game. That's going to be a really good matchup. So that's going to be a close one.
Yeah. What's the next game?
Next game this is the one I actually won. Giants plus 3. I was really confident about this one too. I should have put more money on this, but I'm not a believer in Kirk Cousins. They call him primetime Kirk for a reason. He's ass in the playoffs and on primetime. He's really good at that 10 a.m. slate when the West Coast is barely waking up from a hungover Saturday night. That was primetime football, and he did not show up. Giants came out, and Danny Dimes was Danny Dimes, and he actually was running the ball a lot and gave them the victory. It was close. It was close, though, but like I said, Kirk Cousins, he's just not built for those clutch situations. So I'm glad I actually won one pick instead of going over 6.
Way to go.
So far 1 for 4. So let's see the rest of it.
One is better than none.
Yes, correct. The next one was Bengals minus 9.5 versus the Ravens. Again, I just thought the Ravens, no Lamar Jackson. I didn't see how they could possibly put up a fight. But, it is the playoff. You just never know. And the Bengals won. They won still. They only won by 7. I needed them to win by 10 or more. So they're just a field goal away. Maybe a play or two could have went the Bengals' way to cover that. But that's sports betting for you. And for this game, it was like minus 400 for the money line. And, I'm not putting down 400 to win 100. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, no. Oh, well, man.
Yep.
You live and
Fair
learn.
enough.
You live and
Live
learn.
and learn, man. You got to take the wins and losses. I've been giving out a couple dubs, but this is the week where I gave out some L's.
Sometimes more losses than wins, but that's
No,
just how it is.
Drake said it best. Sometimes you laugh, sometimes you cry, but I guess you know now.
All
And then
right.
And then last but not least, boys, we had the Bucks Cowboys Monday night game. I just thought Tom Brady was going to be Tom Brady for at least the first round. I didn't think he would stink it up this bad, but he was just throwing passes that are very uncharacteristic of him. Like that interception in the red zone, he just floated it back to the back, thinking it was going to go out of bounds, but it fell into one of the Cowboys' secondary. So after that play, I got really nervous, and as the night went on, Danny just kept rubbing it in my face that Giselle is saying that it's over. So that's when I knew.
Just to recap with the listeners, so I said it's over now, and then that's when Francis came in. It was like, it's not over till Tom Brady says it's over, and I'm like, well, Giselle said it was over. And that's when he came in. Well, in a football game, Tom Brady says when it's over in a football game. I'm like, thanks for the clarification, man.
I needed a comeback. That was a good comeback, so I had to come back with you with something,
That was funny,
the one odd thing about that game is that Godwin, Julio Jones, and Mike Evans, they kind of had solid games.
Mm-hmm.
All three of them had like multiple receptions and almost hit 100 yards. So you would have thought that it would have reflected on the scoreboard. But,
yeah, I thought it would have been. Yeah, you're right, dude. I thought it'd been a lot closer. I knew this was a shaky pick. It was more like I had money on it, but not as much as I did on like the Chargers and the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought Tom Brady would keep it close. I just thought.
For sure.
To add to that,
felt that.
Go
way.
ahead, PQ.
I just said majority probably felt that way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say though is that probably most of those yards came at the end of the third quarter and fourth quarter. I mean, a lot of garbage time yards just to play catch up. That's all it is, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Cowboys were kind of playing conservative in the second half. They're just running the ball, kind of not. They're playing to win.
And then the defense, a lot of for the coverage. So makes sense. All right.
Yeah, man, so that covers it. I'll leave you guys with this I'm only giving one pick out this week, and you guys know I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm going Eagles -7. Right now the line's 7.5, so you got to buy the hook to get it to 7, just in case. But yeah, they're playing the Giants, familiar opponent, divisional opponent. Eagles won both times, so it's going to be good. I mean, Zach, I think pointed out earlier that it could be a close game, and I do agree that it possibly can, but I just need to make some money back, boys, and that's the one I'm going to make my money back on.
You know what? I'm going to make a wild prediction. All
right.
You guys remember the 2007 Patriots when they went undefeated?
Mm-hmm.
And then they almost lost to the Giants. I think it was like week 16 or 17.
Or 17, week 17.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then who ended up winning the Super Bowl? The Giants. So I'm gonna go with the Giants on this one because even though the Eagles were hot, the Giants somehow pulled this miracle in the playoffs. And Dimes is I don't think he's up there as Eli, but he has shown that.
We'll see, man. I mean, who did the Giants play again? They played the Vikings. Their defensive line is not as elite as the Eagles' defensive line. You got Fletcher Cox, Hargrave, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick.
What?
Yeah.
Well, Vikings was bottom half of the defense too, I believe. So they're not.
I just want to say this on the bets recap we just did.
Mm-hmm.
2 of the 3 divisional matchups in that wild card round. The underdogs covered the spread.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to point that out.
That's true.
It's hard to beat the same team 3 times in a season.
No, you're absolutely right.
I mean, I think the Eagles could cover with a touchdown, so I don't.
Yeah, that's why the line is a little smaller. I mean, you're right. The divisional, like the Bills, Miami, that was a kind of a big spread, so I kind of risked it for that one. And then same with the Bengals, Ravens, and 9.5 was a little more. It's a more than a touchdown, so that's a little bit harder to cover in a playoff match. But I give the Eagles a touchdown. They probably win like 27-20 or 28-20 or some shit like that. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, thanks for having me. I'm signing off. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to being on here more and giving out more picks and talking more sports. I've got basketball later on this season. I'm looking to collaborate with Source Glory, aka Kyle, aka the MMA expert, to try to break down some picks for there, because I can look at lines and he can give me the picks and we could collab and make some money, you know. So yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right, guys, take it easy, bro. Thanks again. Good to be on this.
All right. Deuces.
Later, Francis.
Have a good night.
You too, man.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Well, that was great. It was nice. It was good to have him on here.
Oh yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Finally.
All right. Let's move along now. So we went over the picks. I mean, we kind of did a small recap, but let's go in depth with our recaps, or should we go with top performers? What do you guys want to do?
Let's do top performers from those.
All right, let's go.
Kind of working the same way.
All right. Let's go.
All right. So for the wide receiver, we've got Deebo Samuels. And there were a couple close performances to Deebo, but he still came out on top. So 6 receptions, 133 yards, and 1 touchdown. I don't think this is any surprise to anyone. He's the type of player that it's just a matter of time for him to blow up in a game. A lot of times, they're double covering him. The defense is keyed on him, but with all the weapons the Niners have, it's hard to just focus down on any of them. I'm sure you can add on to that. Feel the burn.
Right. Go ahead, Zach.
Go ahead, Bruce.
I was going to say, you know what? Because I think they just have so many weapons. They have McCaffrey. They have great running game. They have Kittle. They have weapons that's why it opens up so well for Deebo. And Deebo's so elusive, so agile that, I mean, he'll juke someone out. He'll make these moves just to get open. So again, it's no surprise that this guy's playing hard week in and week out, and even more in the playoffs.
And he's just such a weapon. You know, they'll put him in as running back. They'll put him in the slot. They'll put him as out as an X. You know, they put him out anywhere. This guy, he's just an overall player. You know, he gets the job done.
This guy's like the utility infielder for like a baseball team that can play every position and play it well. This guy, this is why it's so imperative to this offense that Deebo is healthy, and why they held him out at the end of the season was because when he's 100%, you can put him all over the field, like you said, and create mismatches. Wherever he's lined up. And I'm sure we'll talk about it when we talk about the QBs, because spoiler alert, like it has been all season with the show, the pass catcher that is one of our top performers. That means usually the quarterback that throws to him is our other top performer for that position. So it's just this guy's electric. This guy's must watch. The offense is clicking right now. Shanahan's been in his bag. They were down in that game at halftime, came back and rolled in the second half. So Deebo had himself a ball game. I can't wait to see what he does this week.
I'd love to see it because I've been a free agent for some time. It's getting a little bit hard not to become a Niners fan.
Hey, colors are dope.
You've been a free agent, huh? No more Steelers, huh? I know I always say that, but you said you're still a Steelers fan in my eyes.
Ever since Polamalu's been gone.
Yeah, since Polamalu retired, it hasn't been the same. Not for me, at least.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right, let's move along to the next top performer.
There we go. QBs. First up, QBs. Brock Purdy, man. He had himself a ball game, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns. I believe he had a rushing touchdown too. Not many rookie QBs are putting up 4 touchdowns and no turnovers in their first playoff game. Like we mentioned with Deebo, this offense with the weapons, there's going to be someone open on every play, and all Purdy has to do is just scan the field and make an accurate throw and find that open man. And he's been doing a fantastic job all season, carrying this offense. Third string quarterback, don't forget, rookie, Mr. Irrelevant, last pick of the draft. Like, what a story this guy's been, and he had himself a huge weekend. Next to him, Daniel Jones. He also had a fantastic weekend against the Vikings defense. Danny Dimes, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Pretty much finished the game off with his legs. Like, he was doing everything that offense needed to do. And as we mentioned last week with my coach of the year, Brian Dable, he's got this team rolling right now. They're all clicking, they're firing all cylinders. It's really nice to have a healthy Saquon Barkley that, Jones can rely on and hand the ball off to alleviate some of that pressure on offense. So that way, when it's time for Daniel Jones to make a play, he's able to, because the run game's keeping the defense honest. So there was a big drop pass in this one. I don't know if you guys caught it. There was a drop pass.
Slayton, right?
Yeah, and he was beating himself up over that. Would have ended the game. Entire team picked him up. It was great to see. No one looked fazed by it except for Slayton, and I think that's a good sign for that Giants team going into Philly. Big divisional game, third time they're playing them on the road. It's going to be hostile, but if Daniel Jones can keep this up from last week, they're going to have a good shot. And then just rounding it off, last night's game, Dak Prescott. This is the game that Cowboys Nation has been looking forward to from him. Best playoff game he's had, best probably professional football game he's had given the circumstances and all the pressure with it. 305 yards, 4 touchdowns against a pretty stout Tampa defense in their house. We all week I feel like I was hearing about the focus being on Tom Brady and it's playoff Tom. But the Cowboys showed out last night, dominated that game start to finish, and Dak Prescott led the way. So those are the top performing QBs from Wildcard Weekend.
As I like to say, Tom Brady has 3 daddies now. Dak Prescott's one of them. Eli Manning's the other one, and Nick Folk is the third one. So he's got 3 daddies now.
Yes. Oh, well, lucky him.
Some people don't have any, so he's got 3.
Right.
Damn, dude.
Oh man. But you know what? He came in. I like Dak. He came in. He showed what's up. He showed the doubters. He came. Yeah, he just pretty much showed up and proved the doubters wrong. He said, "We them boys," and they were them boys last night. So kudos to the Cowboys. And I'm actually excited to see them in the playoffs. Honestly, so it's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So let's move on with the more performers.
Next up should be running backs. So we've got it's just 3 running backs I felt should be highlighted because their stats were kind of scattered. But Christian McCaffrey had 15 carries for 119 yards. He was the only running back this week to get into the hundreds. Eckler and Barkley, they didn't have that many yards on the ground, but they both had 2 touchdowns, and they were the only ones who had 2 touchdowns on the ground. So, these are 3 elite running backs. We've seen it all season. It's been that way for a while. And these are guys who are going to continue to do this throughout the rest of the season, and then probably for the next couple of years. On the keynote that they're still healthy.
Right. And
sure.
this goes with what we were talking about with Deebo Samuel and having the Niners having the weapons. I mean, look at Christian McCaffrey, 15 carries for 119 yards. That's almost an 8-yard average per carry. Right. I mean, tell me that does not open up the defense. That's just emphasizing the linebackers to get to, what do they say? To box up right there and to try to stop the run. And what happens? There goes Deebo wide open down the line.
Right. That opens up like the tight end, screenplays, all the trickery they like to do. And this is the most fun, when you have a team like that where you just never know which direction they're coming from. It just makes it the most enjoyable.
And enjoy it because Shanahan, the name Shanahan, this offense looks similar to when Shanahan was a Broncos coach too, with TD, Elway, Shannon Sharp, all those guys. So keep a lookout.
Right.
Keep a lookout.
Yeah.
3 things I just want to point out. Number 1, Danny, fantastic math there, dude. That was awesome. With the yards per carry for CMC off top of the dome. Way to go. Number 2, this is why the Niners traded for Christian McCaffrey. They traded for him for games like this and for what he brings to an offense. He showed out and, pretty much was able to shoulder the weight of finishing off that game when it got out of hand, and then, create the space and like you said, keep the, linebackers honest in the box. So that way it opens up lanes for Debo and Ayuk and even Kittle. And the third thing I want to point out is these 3 running backs might be the top 3 running back picks in fantasy next year. And no coincidence, when these guys are healthy and given opportunities, they perform, as evidenced by their performances this past weekend.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up a fun fact. I did a quick poll with these 3. Who would you start? And 57% said CMC, 14% said Eckler, and 29% said Saquon. So, with these guys, it's a shot in the dark. I feel like each one of them does certain things better than the other. There may be someone who is the superior out of all 3, but it's not going to get much better than this with any of them. So yeah,
for sure.
Can I before we move on, I just want to make one more point. I never thought I'd see Eckler as a top tier running back. So he's proven me wrong. Yeah, honestly, I always thought he's going to be like another, no disrespect, like a Darren, not a Darren McFadden.
Say it.
Danny Woodhead.
Say Sproles. Say Sproles.
Sproles. Correct.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Sproles.
Exactly.
I thought you were going to say Woodhead.
Similar to that too. It's kind of the same. But for him to just blow up and emerge like that, it's good to see, honestly. So
that's funny you say that, because I felt like I always knew that he was going to be the workhorse eventually. I mean, I loved Melvin Gordon, but I feel like I saw like the parts of Eckler that I saw that were highlights. I felt like I knew that he was going to be a workhorse eventually. And I mean, this guy is he's just like a worker, like he keeps his head down, he works hard, he does his part in the gym. I mean, once I saw on his Instagram, this guy's squatting like almost 600 pounds, and he's only weighs like, dude. He probably only weighs like 220 at most, so this guy, I feel like he's just a hard worker. But obviously he's talented too. But yeah, I mean, I always felt like I knew that he was going to be a workhorse eventually.
For sure. Yeah. Shout out to he's part of the short gang too. So kind of like me.
Undrafted gang too, just like us, undrafted.
Oh wow.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
He actually has a brother I've seen online. He plays safety somewhere. I'm kind of wondering if he's going to get drafted, or maybe he'll make it into the NFL undrafted as well.
I've heard the name. You're right.
Yeah, I can't remember his first name, but yeah, he plays safety somewhere. So we'll see. Well, it's funny because I mean McCaffrey's got a long line of elite athletes in his family too.
Olympians and pro football player. Yeah, dude.
His dad being Ed McCaffrey, Super Bowl champion with who else? Your very own
Mike Shanahan.
Mike Shanahan. Yeah.
Yes. And look, now he's sharing the success with Kyle Shanahan, like the succession, fathers,
the narratives.
Yeah.
And he had his older brother was on the practice squad for a few teams at one point, and his younger brother is a quarterback. I forget at what school, but he's being highly recruited. So.
At a high school right now.
Yeah, I think he's like a senior in high school right now.
Okay. Good genes, man.
Yeah.
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 Wish I had those genes, but no.
Oh, don't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah, just not that gene that the Manning brother has that caused him to not be able to play anymore.
Oh my god, bro!
You know the third
Come
one.
on,
Yeah.
No disrespect. No disrespect.
his son is top quarterback in the country right now for high school. So
Oh wow.
we'll see what happens. Yeah, Arch Manning
all right.
going to Texas.
Well, it's kind of like that saying that they always had about the backup QB being like the best position on the team because the salary and just all the benefit that comes with that.
That's true. They
For
do
real.
get paid pretty highly.
Yeah, and it's
Shout
very
out all
low
the backup
risk.
QBs out there.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. So we got any more top performers? I think that covers them all, right?
Yeah. for this week.
I'll say the worst performer of the week, which was the kicker of the Cowboys. So I'm surprised he hasn't been cut yet.
Dude,
So.
well, man, that's bad, huh? Like that's crazy. That's
Terrible.
And he missed more. He missed 4, and I think during the whole season he missed 3. So in one game he missed 4, and the whole season he missed 3.
Yeah, and the 4 he missed
Maybe-
for extra points.
Yeah, and so maybe it's just a little bit of getting the nerves out. First playoff game in a while. I don't know. Or did he play last year too?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
No,
I don't know, bro. But you can't be doing that. You're gonna lose your job real quick. And I'm surprised he hasn't been cut yet.
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. I mean, there's guys out there who would not have missed those kicks.
Brad Bond.
I feel like I could have made one of those. That didn't seem that far.
Yeah, I mean, there's even been there's that one where Ocho Cinco was out there. Didn't he kick a field goal at one point?
I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Somebody from the
Crazy,
Patriots did like a drop field goal too. It's pretty
Oh,
nuts.
man.
I remember that too. It was years ago.
Yeah.
They lined up
Brewski?
in shotgun.
I think
No, it wasn't Brewski.
No,
Was it Brewski? I don't remember. I think it was the normal kicker, but he lined up in shotgun and just like pooch kicked it, like drop kicked it up into the uprights. And I'm like, damn, you can still get points for that? It was like what, like 2 points or something like that?
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but it makes me wonder why teams don't do that more often. It's just easy points. It's
Yeah, even though we didn't get the specifics on it, when I was looking up the stats for the top performers, there were some tight ends who had some really solid weeks. I think it was
Schultz had a good game last night. Yeah,
yeah, Schultz.
and Ingram had a decent game as well.
I
Again,
knew you would say Ingram.
yeah, I mean, he had a good game, man. What can you say?
Yeah.
And I wish I remember the other ones. Everett had a great game too.
Yeah. He did.
Oh yeah.
He had a good game.
Yeah.
And
Everett had a
he-
good
he
season
actually-
overall.
He actually caught that ball at the end, but whatever. The refs.
Okay, I didn't.
Refs
I-
were probably the
unfortunately,
worst
I didn't see
performers of the
game.
weekend, dude. They had a rough week.
Worse than Mayer?
No, I don't know about that, dude. Brett Maher. That's so
Brett Maher.
bad.
Brett Maher.
5 kicks, 4 of them extra points. Like holy shit.
And remember, they it was a 4th down, and he was getting ready to go out, and then the coach was like, "No."
No.
They went for it on 4th down.
It's all good. 4th and 18, we're gonna let Dak do it.
They had a lead, and then they're like, "No, we're just gonna go for it."
That's a red flag for him right there.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's. Those are our top performers. Let's move on. Let's talk. We'll still be on NFL, but let's talk playoff picture. Well, not the picture, but the updated bracket. What's that looking like now?
So 8 teams left, right?
8 teams
Yes.
left. Final 4 in each conference.
So it seems here we have for the NFC, we have the number 6 Giants going up against the number 1 Eagles, which I think is going to be a great match. Like I said earlier, I have a feeling Giants are going to pull an upset here. Then we have Cowboys versus the Niners.
Sunday night.
That's a rematch from last year.
Yes, sir.
Oh wow!
Dang.
I know.
Yeah, that was the big upset when the Niners beat the Cowboys in the NFC Championship.
That was the game where where the ref was trying to spot the ball and he got in the way, and so they couldn't spike it. Yeah, that was that game.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yep,
A lot of
I
sad
remember
Cowboys
that.
fans.
When that
Dude,
happens, they just got to put time on the clock.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed too. Like that's not on the
That was
that's the
kinda
refs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on the AFC, I think I see another possible. I mean, I want to call it, but I hope Jags go Jags against the Chiefs. Hopefully it happens, but I hope it's just a good game to watch. Honestly,
It probably will be, honestly.
Yeah, but I just can't see the Chiefs losing to the Jags right now. You know,
No.
I mean, the Jags have had quite the season, probably better than even a lot of themselves expected. But the Chiefs, they just got that recipe locked in. You know,
Cooking.
yeah, you're right, man. You're right. But you know, it's the playoffs. I'm just having that underdog hopeful, that hope in me for the underdog to just come in and beat the Chiefs by like a field goal, like a last minute field goal.
I think the only way they could win is if Mahomes was like not playing for whatever reason. Yeah.
If he gets injured.
Has Mahomes lost in the divisional round since he's been starting QB? I feel like they're always in the AFC Championship game.
I think they did lose one year.
I also will say this. There's something to be said about Andy Reid when he has an extra week of preparation. I think his record coming off of a bye week and coming off of, if you have the playoff bye week and first games of the season, he's historically like one of the best coaches of all time in terms of winning percentage. So,
wow.
I think it's gonna be a really tough game for Jacksonville. However, if they can, build off of how they ended last game, they're gonna have a shot for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, even so, the Chiefs, they can't take any plays off. Yeah, even though we all see them in a high regard, they can't take any plays off against this team. The Jaguars have just been, in my opinion, just blowing everybody away, beyond expectation this season. So, and Feel the Burn has called it multiple times. So,
unfortunately, it's been coming back to get me here talking about the Jaguars in such high regard for the last month and a half. We've been one of the most pro Jaguars sports mediums out here. You could put us up against a lot of different non-Jaguar centric sports shows
It's
they should send us some gear.
Come join and listen with us.
Let's go.
Yeah. We're on your side.
Send us some gear.
Even after Chargers lost, Zach's still feeling the Jag love.
Yeah, I'm over here jagging off.
Jagging.
we honestly have been talking like no bullshit. We've been saying this could happen for a month now, and
we have
let them go. They got their way into the playoff the way that we said that they probably could. We said they had a team that once they get there in the coaching staff that could lead them to a playoff win, and they did in historic fashion.
We're speaking it into existence for them, So this is what I'm going to say. The Jags will win against the Chiefs. I am speaking it into existence.
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
All right. And then we have one more match, the good old Cincinnati Bungles versus the Buffalo Billies.
You're just hating today, man.
Nah, I always call them
You're back in full effect.
Man. That's a tough one too, but I think the Bengals will pull that win out, honestly. Yeah. I don't know. That's just what my gut's telling me.
Haven't you learned from Matthew Berry? The Bengals always bone you, so don't go with the Bengals.
What?
Matthew Berry always, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they just boned their way to a Super Bowl last year, so I don't know about that.
But then people picked them against the Rams, and then they boned you at the end.
That crowd's like primarily
against the Rams for sure.
A Bengals-centric crowd too at the Super Bowl. It was fun to see. But
yeah,
this game is actually, I think it's my most anticipated game to watch, even despite the Niners playing football this weekend. But like, this is that game that never happened, right? Because this is not a continuation of the Monday Night Football game, but these were the two teams that were playing in that Monday Night Football game when DeMar Hamlin went down. So that's going to be very interesting to see how both teams react to each other and being out there on the field again, going to battle now with bigger stakes than even their last Monday Night Football encounter. So we're really, really, really looking forward to this game.
For sure, definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, that seems to wrap up our NFL playoffs and pretty much NFL in general. So very cool. Let's bring in Kyle. What's up, Kyle?
Hello, thank you, Danny. Speaking
all right.
Backing up.
Source
I
glory.
did not know what you guys were talking about at all. So I'm going to talk
What's
about
What's up with you, man?
Hey, but before you guys dive in, just want to say thanks for having a great episode again, guys.
Thank you.
For sure. Oh, PQ, yes, thank you. Appreciate it, man. We'll see you next week. So
all right, sounds
thanks again
good, guys.
for your analysis. Yeah, man.
Thank you. All right,
Thanks for that,
care,
guys.
Yeah, so wanted to talk about some bad news and some good news. Francis Ngannou has been released from the UFC. He was, in negotiations with the UFC. He wasn't very happy with some of the stipulations in his contract. Quote unquote, he says in that contract, I am not free. I'm not an independent contractor. I have no rights. I hand over all the power to you guys. I've seen in the past how you can utilize your power against me, and I don't want that. So this guy's standing up for himself. I think a lot of the MMA community really supports him because he came from some really humble beginnings. He came from Cameroon. He came from nothing. I even heard that he slept under a plastic blanket trying to sell stuff, in his hood for a long time. So, he's really adamant that he made the right choice to depart from the UFC. I know there's still possibilities that he might return to the promotion, but I think at this point he really believes that he made the right decision. So, more power to him. There's even talks about him wanting to pursue boxing, and he apparently idolized Tyson Fury when he was younger, and he wants to go to boxing. So, he's a gentleman through and through. He's definitely a monster in the ring. He's got Brock Lesnar type boulders for fists. So if you've seen his last fight, he knocked Stipe Miocic out cold, dirty, and it was pretty nasty, man. He's a monster. It's pretty sad to see him go, but if he wants to go to boxing and make big money, might as well. It's prize fighting. You're here to support your family, and you're here to make a name for yourself and make money and create generational wealth. So I'm happy for him. And with that said, the good news is that John Jones is returning as well, and he also expressed his support for Francis too. He was saying stuff along the lines that I'm glad Francis knows his worth. No man has a right to shame another man for fighting for his worth. Another company is going to be very blessed to have him, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really good to hear that, John's back and he's saying some good, wholesome things despite his non-wholesome past, sniffing cocaine before he fights Daniel Cormier, having little hit and run accidents with old ladies and doing PEDs and whatnot. But, with that said, he spent 3 years away from competition to go up to heavyweight, and he's currently 255 pounds. He looks
Christ.
just as big, if not bigger, than Francis, which is a bummer, guys, because that would have been a crazy fight to see.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, to see somebody like Francis, Brock Lesnar type build against, a very agile, sharp kickboxer like John Jones. John Jones has. I think since you guys were talking about football, he's got family in the league, right? If I'm not mistaken.
John Jones.
Yeah.
John Jones. I think I might have heard that around. Let's do a quick Google search. But keep going.
Yeah, that's just what I heard. I don't know. I was just jagging off, like Zach said. Jaguars.
Yeah.
For all the children.
John Jones' brothers, Arthur and Chandler, are both NFL players. So Chandler Jones, which I've definitely heard.
D. Chandler Jones, really?
D. Chandler Jones, yeah.
Is he like that's wild, dude. He's one of the top defensive players in the league, dude.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
that's interesting.
It runs in their genes, man. Literally. So
again, I wish I had better genes.
I got small genes, small Asian genes, if you know what I'm saying, guys. Yeah. Yikes. Not funny. Damn it.
No.
So yikes. So John is fighting Cyril Gane. He's a Frenchman. Still not as exciting as Francis versus John, but I think what makes this bout exciting is that John is more of a stagnant fighter, where he likes to use his range, he likes to use his front kicks and his length to kind of keep a good distance away from his opponents. Whereas Cyril, it has more of a Dutch style type of kickboxing style, where he's more mobile on his feet. He likes to, use his angles, use leg kicks. So I don't think John has fought as good of a kickboxer as Cyril is, and somebody that's as elusive and as mobile. But I mean, if you look at John, what's his record? Let's look it up here. He's lost one fight, and that was against Mark Hamill back in the 2000s, and it was a disqualification, and that guy I think he was deaf too.
Mark Hamill? The Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill? Let's Google this. Hold on 1 second.
No, because I think
that's Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker,
yes, the fucking Joker, this guy.
Let's take a look. No, it is Mark Hamill. His name is also Matt Hamill. I'm sorry.
Oh, Matt Hamill. Okay.
God,
I'm having a little
glad we cleared that up.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so that was his only loss, but other than that, he's destroyed every single one of his opponents. So, nonetheless, it's going to be a huge fight. John's huge, no pun intended. Cyril's a bit smaller, but Cyril's going to be dancing around the ring, and I think it's going to be exciting to watch John, demonstrate some new weapons. He's been training with Henry Cejudo, aka Abrasumente. So with that said, he's picked up a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of a little bit of a fight IQ from a really good fighter. So that's going to be a good one to watch, guys.
I agree. John Jones looking, with those pictures, he came back, he's beasting, man. And it's unfortunate, we're not going to see it against Francis Ngannou. Because I'll say, to kind of take a few steps back and talk about Francis, I think now it's just, damn, like I mentioned to you guys when the news broke out, like almost anybody could get the championship now, because I think that I personally, in my opinion, thought Ngannou was going to hold on to that reign for a good while, kind of like what Lesnar did when he first came on, and because he's just Ngannou's just beast. I mean, he's called a predator for a reason, man. And he just goes in and annihilates his opponents. But it's also good to see, now fast forward to John Jones. It's good to see John Jones come back. Hopefully he's got the right state of mind. Everything's working out for him. He's took time off to focus on himself and improve as a man, as a person, and let's see it showcase in the octagon. And again, unfortunately, it's not against Francis, but we'll take it. We'll take it because we know what John Jones is capable of, and he's beast in the octagon. And to come back as a heavyweight, and I mean, just look at those pictures, man. Gosh, that's crazy. And so, he's just gonna go nuts. I think he's gonna win this one easily, hands down.
I think so too, Danny. I think so too. I agree, man. He's I think in that picture he's walking around like 255 to 260. So with that cardio, with those weapons, with those elbows, he has very sharp striking. He looks like he's got some chicken legs, but man, those shins have damaged some legendary fighters, So like you said, man, it's a bummer that Francis isn't going to be here, but I think the UFC is pretty happy with the trade. It's an even trade, if not better, to be honest.
It's all business at the end of the day.
Exactly, all business.
All about that money, baby.
So moving on, I wanted to breeze through the upcoming bout between Alexander Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. As you know,
God, these names are so tough, man.
Yeah, I don't know how I don't know how I'm pronouncing these names, man. I don't even understand the football.
It's just a lot of consonants.
You're doing a good job, you're doing a very good job.
Thank you, Nani.
Thank you.
I think that was a different Asian right there. It's all good though. It's all good. So Makhachev versus Volkanovski. It's gonna be a banger. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of banter for you guys right after this, but I don't really think Volkanovski deserved that fight. He's moving up from he's the current reigning 145 champion. He defeated Max Holloway 3 times. He's proved himself. I think he's actually pound for pound number 1 in the MMA rankings. Pound for pound number 1 in all of MMA. So that says a lot about this guy. He's a short dude. He's his face looks pretty imposing. He's Australian. He played rugby. But he's a shorter dude and he's got a pretty significant, height disadvantage. But, in the ring, he's got great takedown defense. He's trained with, some of the best wrestlers and some of the best Thai fighters in Thailand at Tiger Muay Thai. And, Islam Makhachev, what else is there to say about this guy? He's got Khabib in his corner. He's defeated fighters like what's his name, Kevin. Oh God! Well, he beat Charles Oliveira recently, and I thought that was going to be a banger, but he choked him out via Darce choke in the first round. And it's really hard for people to really get up off the ground when they fight Makhachev and when they fight people from Khabib's camp from Dagestan, and I think it's going to be an interesting fight because Volkanovski is very, very tough all around. He's got a great takedown defense. He claims that he's going to be able to get up off the ground when Makhachev takes him down. He's already expecting. He's so humble and he's very aware of Makhachev's skill level that he knows that he's going to get taken down, which says a lot about this guy's fight IQ. He knows that he's going to get taken down, but he also claims that he's going to get back up, unlike anybody else that's ever fought Makhachev. So, I think this was a great.
Seems like he's having a proactive. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, man. No, go ahead.
No, I was saying it sounds like he's having a proactive approach to it. So it's like, okay, I know I'm going to be taken down. What am I going to do with it? well, how am I going to get up? How am I going to get out? Like he's already, like you said, he's expecting to be going up against one of the top, wrestlers in the UFC. Like, you know what's going to happen. So how are you going to react to it? What are you going to do? So I think that's a good approach, instead of just, no, I'm not going to be taken down. Like, I'm the one, like a lot of fighters do.
Exactly. Just like Sun Tzu said, the great philosopher, you got to know your enemy, know thy enemy. So that really just, it's an indication of his fight IQ and his confidence in his camp. And, he's surrounded by champions all around. Israel Adesanya, Dan Hooker is not a champion, but he's fought, people like Dustin Poirier. He's surrounded by killers, man. And it's going to be exciting. And I think, like I said, the UFC made a great decision in booking this fight. Before we move on to what I'm going to say, it's going to be a great segue, but I think they made a great decision in booking this fight because it's everybody's expecting Islam to kick his ass, right? But if Volkanovski can go up and beat him, he's going to be a double champ against one of the greatest fighters from one of the greatest camps in the entire world. So definitely a fight to watch. And with that said, I wanted to give somebody their flowers. Beneil Dariush. He is from King's MMA in Huntington Beach. He's on an 8 fight. I can't talk today, man. Oh my God. He's on an 8 fight win streak. And I truly believe he deserved a title fight 2 fights ago. This guy's another all-around great wrestler, an excellent kickboxer. His last fight against Gamrot, slightly unknown, but if you watch the fight, he knocked him out with a straight right cross or a straight left cross and put him out cold, man. And that's a high-level kickboxer / wrestler. And 8 fights, even 6 to 7 fights deserves at least a title contention, I think. And what I wanted to banter on was the comparison between his situation and Colby Covington, because I think it was 5 or 6 years ago when Colby Covington in the welterweight division was going to be released from the UFC despite having such a good record. They just didn't think he was exciting enough, and they didn't want to give him the opportunities that he deserved. So Colby then went heel, and now he's a superstar, But what I love about Beneil is that he is just a true martial artist, and he doesn't want to go that route. He doesn't want to put on a persona and not stay true to who he is to move up the rankings and get the money that everyone believes that he deserves. So I respect him for that. What do you guys think about that whole dilemma? Do you think that it's a good decision to stay true to your roots, or to put on a persona and make a couple million more dollars each of those fights?
Man,
What was that?
Honestly, that's a tough question. I think some people would say that their roots are rooted in making money. So whatever the best avenue is.
Before you begin, since you guys talk about wrestling and whatnot, a lot of that is scripted. Obviously, the stunts are not. A lot of those things that they do are very difficult or very dangerous. But those guys put on personas to make money. They put on some really weird personas to get that dough. And yeah, what do you think? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to add that in there.
That's actually a really good point. But I think there's something to be said about the history of both of these entities, of like what you're talking about, like mixed martial arts, has always been real, if you will. NFL scripted, like or not NFL, the WWE and wrestling, pro wrestling have been scripted. That being said, like that is a good point. Like, you got wrestlers that create these personas and they make money off of it. So like, what difference is it for a fighter to do that? And I'm with that, honestly, because that makes sense. Like, you want to be entertaining, you want to bring eyeballs to the product. This is all the stuff we talk about when we talk about wrestling. But you got to be careful though, because the fan bases are different. Like,
Exactly.
Fan bases react differently, right? Like if you approach pro wrestling, and try to be super real and super serious, like Ken Shamrock and Brock Lesnar when he came back his second stint, it kind of rubbed people the wrong way, right? And now that's exactly what Colby Covington's done. Well, because it's like they call it shoot, right? It's like a shoot thing to do. Like if you're shooting in pro wrestling, like you're being real, like you're breaking kayfabe and you're getting out of the scripted stuff and you're shooting.
Gotcha.
And there's not many people that are in wrestling that can beat Brock Lesnar in a fight, right? However, in the art form of pro wrestling, like anybody on any given night in any given town can beat whoever. Like, we see that shit happen all the time. So it rubbed people the wrong way because, it was like Brock is coming back, but from the real sport of UFC or the real product of UFC back into wrestling. And he had, the MMA stuff on. He had like the gloves and the shorts. Whereas when he was a wrestler, he was wearing the trunks and that was it. He was a pro wrestler, had the boots. So I remember a lot of fans were getting rubbed the wrong way with Brock's return, and then Ken Shamrock trying to think he was true, and even Kurt Angle, when Kurt Angle was starting out and he was training, he was like, I should never lose. Like, I'm fucking Kurt Angle. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. Won it with a broken freaking neck, like he always says.
He was like
how pro wrestling is.
He was a legit Olympic medalist.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle won. He won the gold
matches online.
Yeah, in Atlanta, dude, on the home soil in '96.
Yeah.
Wow.
So to your point, like it's similar in the way of like both businesses, both UFC or both mixed martial arts. When like the popular version of it, right? The popular version of mixed martial arts, the popular version of WWE, of pro wrestling, which is WWE. They're about making money, right? So more eyeballs on the product, more people talking about the product, more people coming out to watch, and see what's Colby Covington going to do? Like, that's good for business. But then you can't like get upset though when those same fans who are like loving your stuff because it's real, like your sport's real, it's not scripted, like they take this shit seriously. So that's why I think he gets a lot of hate. But if you look at it from pro wrestling, like with pro wrestling glasses on, Colby Covington is like any other heel that you see on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What I'll add to because Zach explained everything perfectly, but in wrestling, in professional wrestling, they always say you put the sport ahead of yourself. You don't, and where I believe in MMA, UFC, you're actually fighting real opponents so you could become champion. So you're looking out for yourself because you want to be champion. Whereas in wrestling, it's more about, the community as a whole. So it's like wrestlers will lose on purpose to, let's say, an up and coming wrestler because they want to make the other guy look good. That's called putting them over. So it's not like there's things like that happen. Whereas again, in UFC, the difference is you're actually trying to fight to win, like for real. And so, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I do like now that a lot of these UFC fighters are coming out with like their persona or their little gimmick. And I think it's just adding a little more spice to the drama, especially when they, with the weigh-ins and they're all looking at each other. But then one of them is all dressed up goofy, it just spices things up. And I think that's just great, honestly. It's great entertainment.
It's good for business, man. Like you want to be able to have something else for fans to watch. Like, the fighting is dope, and that's always going to have like a hardcore fan base. And this is like what we talk about when we talk about different promotions in wrestling, like the in-ring product in wrestling. Like, yeah, you want it to be great, but at the same time, you want like pomp and circumstance. Like, you want storylines, you want the soap opera part. And UFC will never have that soap opera part, like to where it's scripted. I don't think they're going to go down that route. But the more that these fighters take it upon themselves to generate that like authentic chemistry between each other, like in promoting fights and talking about it, and even like the post fight promos, if you will, like the interviews that they do, like that's the best time to show your personality, like the lead up to it. Like at the press conference, like Conor was the best at that.
Absolutely.
That's why Conor has always been rumored to be one of like Vince McMahon's like most wanted prospects to come over and do like some matches, because he can cut a promo, he can draw a crowd. Like people watch like UFC pay-per-views that Conor's on, and
because of that, because of how he sells it, the way, the charisma he has is, and just talks shit. He doesn't care, but the people love it, and that's how they get those high numbers, because Conor. And I mean, just to kind of go off a little bit, I mean, just look at Mayweather when he was boxing too, professionally, always talking, I'm money, I'm this, I'm that. And what did that do? It made him look like a heel, like a bad guy, because no one liked him. It's like, oh, this guy's so cocky, this guy this guy that. And that's why people would, I'm going to buy this fight because I want to see this fool lose, even though he never lost.
Yeah.
So that's what he did. He would promote his own fights in a way to have people hate on him, and so people could buy the fights or go to the fights just to prove them wrong. Bad
publicity is still publicity, 100%. How is Ronda Rousey doing? Just out of curiosity. I know this is kind of off the set list, but is she doing well?
I'll use Zach. Oh, what happened to Zach?
Got cut off. Yeah, he got cut off.
Zach got cut off. To give you the best answer, I think she's doing all right. I'm not a big WWE. There he is. He's back. Is he?
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Danny.
No, that's why I was going to say Zach is the best one to answer this, because he watches WWE much more than I do. So he's far more knowledgeable. So what do you think of Ronda Rousey right now in WWE?
Personally, man, I have been a fan of hers, and that's like the unpopular opinion going around with her in WWE. I think she's legitimized the women's division, or she's helped legitimize women's wrestling in a way, because she brings that realism that we were talking about. However, that comes with the shooting aspect of what she's known for. Like, it has rubbed people the wrong way, but at the same time, like, if you've been paying attention to it, it's elevated other women's wrestlers who have been able to compete against her. I think she's done a lot for the women's division because she's been given the rub of like being in the ring with her. You can say whatever you want about her promos and whatever you want about her in-ring ability, like of the pro wrestling style of combat, and that's valid. But just like her aura and her presence in the WWE, I think has been really, really good, and I don't think she gets enough credit for what she's brought to the company.
Yeah, it says a lot about the division in the fan bases, because she didn't when she left the UFC, people weren't very happy with her.
No.
So
I think that's when she was starting to lose quite a few matches too, right? Like she was on top of the women's division, and then she just started going a little downhill.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. But at the end of the day, man, it's all about that money, But
that's what it is.
Yes, sir. I think that wraps it up for me, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Of course. Well, thanks again for coming on tonight. And then, we'll see you back next week with some more news and information on MMA. So here's our MMA expert, Kyle. Thanks again, man.
Thanks, Abra.
See you next week.
Appreciate you.
Man.
Love Kyle, man. I love having him on. I love getting that MMA perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Let's talk about it. Let's do some
We have
wrestling.
not had a chance to talk about wrestling in a couple weeks, dude. I've been holding it in. It's been a bummer not having you on, man. We've been, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of news to go over. But I think let's just dumbify it for tonight and ease our way back in, right? Slide back into our routines. You and I, dude, linked up this past week, right? I know the first few shows that we did, I was talking about, oh man, I'm gonna be at the forum for Dynamite. I'm gonna be there, and I, seeing you, and you're like, this guy. But hey, who was sitting next to me at Dynamite, huh?
C'est moi. And you know what?
That's right.
First, before we go on, thanks to I Am Proper, part of the cave community, he gave me a ticket to go watch the wrestling. So thanks I Am Proper. But okay, moving on. But yes, you and I were sitting next to each other. We watched the whole AEW event, which was pretty cool, man. Going to my first AEW event, we got to see the filming of Dark Elevation, Dynamite, and Rampage all in one sitting. Right. It was awesome. But Dynamite was dope, man. Dynamite was dope. Started off with Jon Moxley versus Adam Page. Such a good match. The energy was just there. Watching these two go at it, and then Page got his revenge, took out Moxley, and Page got the dub. What'd you think?
So, yeah, dude, like you said, Dark Elevation kicked us off. I think they started like 4:30ish, maybe 4:15ish. Started off with that, and they eased their way into the action and built off of each match that they showed. The last match, Dark Elevation, I think was a great segue into what we probably weren't prepared for with Dynamite. Holy heck, dude. That Dynamite opener with Moxley and Page was just incredible. We really got like a pay-per-view quality Dynamite and Rampage for that matter, truly blessed to be in the crowd. I did not know that was your first Dynamite. But this is only their second time in LA, so I was at the first one and happy to be at this one. This one was definitely better. With Moxley and Page, we can feel that crescendo of anticipation because we can, from our seats that we were sitting in, we can kind of see them set up for Moxley's entrance. And as the door opened, like he was sitting there doing push-ups, and we were like, "Oh my god!" Like,
he was doing some crunches too. He was getting ready. Yeah.
And that fan reaction, I don't know, if you watched it back or not, all night, like that's how lit it was in that building. It was insane. Crowd didn't really know who to cheer for, honestly. They were just cheering for both guys. It was great to see Hangman back after his scare and the last time he fought Moxley when he got his concussion. But him getting the dub was massive win. And really happy to see both escape that match fairly healthy. Mox looked a little banged up at the end, obviously kayfabe storyline there, but great to see Hangman Adam Page walk out on his own this time.
Right. It was dope. I think it was the perfect way to start the Dynamite event. Got the fans, wild and riled up. The energy, like I said, was there. And you know what? You know who was also dope to see come back? Adam Cole, baby. And man, there he is. Man, the promo he gave, I mean, the energy, everyone loves him. I mean, it was that I'm back, nothing's gonna stop me, which I get it, you got to do that. But at the I love seeing him and how he's back. He's gonna finally start wrestling again. And you know what would be dope? Seeing him against Darby for that TNT championship, man. Because I think Cole was having a run earlier, like maybe not earlier, like close to a year ago against he was going up against Adam Page. I think he fought for the belt twice and he lost both times. So he was getting a little push, and then that's when he got injured. So to see him, I want to see him come back, get that little push, and maybe take that belt off. I mean, I love Darby, but I like Cole too, and I think Cole deserves a belt in AEW.
Yeah. So this was completely unexpected. I don't think. I mean, there might have been little people thinking, or a small amount of people on the internet or whatever, saying, "Oh, that it's going to be a big show. What if he comes back?" But there was a lot of uncertainty about how severe his injury was, and based on his promo, like it was pretty bad. I think Britt Baker tweeted out that like he couldn't fly on airplanes for a bit there because of his head injuries. Jeez. Like that's wild. However, dude, that pop he got from his entrance, holy shit. Everybody was screaming, everybody was doing the boom and Adam Cole baby, like the loudest boom and Adam Cole baby I've ever heard. Ooh. By far, dude. Like, oh, man. Great for Adam Cole. He's one of the guys that I really was surprised to see WWE let go. And he's just a mega star, and it's undeniable now. I don't want to steal Cody Rhodes' undeniable hashtag, but freaking Adam Cole is the man. As far as where he's going to go from here, I don't know if the TNT title is like I don't know if the title's big enough for him. You know what I'm saying? However, that would bring some legitimacy for sure to that title. To have a mega star like Adam Cole be involved in a program. I also think he cannot be a heel, dude. Like the pop he got, and now like coming back from, it's almost like when Roman Reigns came back after the leukemia scare that he had. Like people didn't boo him until he had to leave for the pandemic, and then came back as a heel. But I just feel like Adam Cole with that reaction now, like he's got to ride in as a face, and honestly, like whether it's MJF or Daniel Bryan, like I think either of them have to be the heels if Adam Cole does go for the AEW title.
I think it'll be a while before that happens again, unfortunately. But then again, that's just my opinion.
Slow build. It's all good. He'll be there for a while.
Yeah, he's coming. That's what I'm saying. Like I do see him getting that TNT, and then eventually build into an AEW world.
Definitely want it to be slow. He needs to make sure that he can stay healthy.
That's the important part. I mean, if by all means, if it means he wins All Atlantic, then win the All Atlantic. You're like,
well, he still has the Owen Hart, right? He's the Owen Hart champ.
I believe.
If they do another tournament,
because they had that event, that tournament a year ago. Yeah. I remember now.
So him and Britt won the first two.
It was good to see him back.
Fantastic, dude. Loved it.
Let's see what else happened. So
we had Daniel Bryan against Takeshita. I know we don't have a picture for it, but man, what an underrated banger that was. I mean, obviously, like it's almost to the point now where you see Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson wrestle, and you're like, oh, it's going to be a great match. But this even exceeded like the standard that he's set for himself. MJF came out first and cut a promo on Takeshita, and he was like, how do you pronounce her name? Takeshita? And I was like, dude, dying. And like, God, MJF is the best.
I love it.
And it was great to see him on the mic again at the Forum, coming off of his last promo where he called Tony Khan a fucking mark on live television. So, always a pleasure to see MJF and a microphone together. And he mentioned stuff about how, like, people are doubting how long he can last for the Iron Man match. And he was like, ask your mom, ask your sister. I was like, oh, my God, this guy's on a roll. So shout out MJF. But yeah, Bryan came out, chased MJF off, and then him and Takeshita just had an absolute classic in the ring. It is just, I don't know what needs to be said about Bryan Danielson at this point, but I guess the main constant that should be said about him is he's in the argument for best wrestler in the world. He's just amazing. He makes everyone that he gets in the ring with, and this is what we were talking about with like the UFC, conversation with the MMA conversation is like they're trying to beat each other, but with pro wrestling, like wins and losses matter, but you're also trying to make your opponent look good too. You don't want them to look like shit. And Takeshita is fairly young. He's in his 20s still. He has a bright future. He went bell to bell with arguably the greatest in the world, and he looked phenomenal after that match. I think the sky's the limit for Takeshi, and AEW's got something there with him.
They do. The guy's he's something special in the ring, and you can see it. I mean, watching it on TV is one thing, but when you're watching it live, the speed is much faster. I noticed that when you're watching wrestling live, when those guys are bouncing off the ropes, oh my god,
there's nothing like live professional wrestling, dude. It's the best.
No. So yeah, but back to the match. He's definitely something. He's special, and he has a bright future in AEW for sure. And I'm glad he's there because he's just adding. I mean, coming from New Japan, he's just adding that nice variety. Something different that we don't usually see all the time. So I don't know. He's just great. That's the best thing I could say.
No, I'm with you. I'm very excited to see where his future wrestling career goes. Because right now it looks fantastic. We also had Big Bill and Lee Moriarty against Jungle. I can never pronounce Moriarty. Man, that was fun. Always fun to see Jungle Boy come out to the crowd and being a part of that with the singing and the arms flailing. But that match had probably one of the loudest pops for a move of the night. Hook ended up hitting a suplex on Big Bill that rocked the entire arena. That was really cool. The anticipation building to that, I think, was over the last couple of weeks. And he finally hit it. The crowd was ready for it. We were all ready for it. We all popped. And they ended up getting the win over Big Bill and Lee Moriarty. So shout out Jungle. That might be a tag team to go.
And Big Bill, like, there's no confusion with the name. That dude is huge, bro. That dude is like
Enzo. Hey, Enzo's been telling us, dude. 7 foot tall. You can't.
He hasn't been like, dude. That he's beast. He reminds me of like good old Kevin Nash back in WCW days. Like, he's just that tall guy and just powerful. Yeah, just boom, boom, and then those kicks. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, it was cool to see Jungle Boy and Jungle Hook. No lie, I'm not a big fan of the name, but it is what it is. What's that?
It is what it is. It is what it is. You're right. It is what it is. Like, you just gotta. I mean, that's gonna sell some shirts. You put that on a shirt, it's gonna sell.
I saw some Jungle Hook shirts out. Oh, look, and a Broncos jersey on the right there. Anyways,
can't help yourself, dude. You are just on one tonight, bro. I love it. Just can't help yourself.
And so, they're definitely a good tag team. They have that chemistry together. It seems like they've been working together, behind the scenes, trying to get that chemistry as a tag team. Hopefully they're successful. Kind of like what when they were with Jurassic Express, where it was Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
Yep, and Marco Stunt.
And then Mark, can't forget Marco Stunts. We also had the women's tag team where it was Saraya,
controversial. Saraya and Tony Storm against
Tony Storm,
Rick Baker and Jamie Hayter.
Correct. Very good.
There
match.
Was a moment here in this match where, like, I think a lot of people were expecting, obviously, Mercedes Moné.
Yeah.
And she didn't appear, which I think is a good thing for the record. I'm glad she didn't show up. But when the lights went out, and then they showed it was like a preview for Rampage or something, the crowd just shat all over it. I thought it was funny. However, like, I don't know if you remember that or not, but there was people that were like, boo. Like, I mean, come on. We just got Adam Cole like an hour ago. What are we doing here?
Yeah, you can't get everything in one show. It's already a legit show, yet they want Mercedes. Nah. Hold your horses.
Yeah, we'll get her versus Jade Cargill, at All Out or something. That'll be fine. But no, that tag match was actually really good. it's really nice to see Saraya continue, her comeback tour and perform at the level she's performing. I was apprehensive at first with her on her comeback on like how she would be in the ring and all that. I was apprehensive, but she's been doing a really good job. Toni Storm, she's probably my favorite, women's wrestler in AEW right now. So always a pleasure to see Toni Storm. And then obviously the chemistry that Hayter and Britt Baker have, probably unmatched in the ring together in the women's division for AEW right now, which depending on how you look at the women's division, that might mean something to you or not. Either way, I'm looking forward to that eventual breakup between the two and their feud. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Sheeta came through with this, and she dropped the kendo stick in the middle, right? So she's teasing the split or the heel turn. And that's how Hayter and Britt pick up the win.
It was entertaining match to see. I enjoyed it 100%. Like you said, seeing Saraya come back. She hadn't wrestled since the pay-per-view event, I believe. But I
think so.
Right? And so, I mean, there's still a little rust, but I 100% believe she'll be back to her prime or even better in the coming future. Absolutely.
She looks good.
Looks good. All right, and let's talk about the main event. La Escalera de la Muerte. I'm not going to say it all. Escalera de la Muerte. No, Escalera
de la Muerte.
That's for you to say. Yeah, seeing Death Triangle versus the Elite. Dude.
Game 7.
Awesome match. I mean, it was pretty much, you could call it a TLC match, but AEW being AEW, I don't think they could call it TLC, but sure it had everything
for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They had tables. There were chairs. Were there chairs?
I think someone had a chair shot on there.
Okay. And for sure there were ladders.
There was cold spray.
Dude, when Penta dropped one of the Young Bucks on the ladder, oh my god, man.
Oh yeah.
And I was kind of hoping to see Pac. I don't know the name of his move, but do his jump off like one of the higher ladders. That would have been crazy, but it's okay. Overall,
too much,
seeing these. I know I'm one of those. Where's Mercedes? Boo.
Yeah, where's these guys almost dying in the ring, jumping off ladders, acting reckless? That's
you know what I gotta say. Talking about people wanting more, there was even, I don't know, remember there was those chants, CM Punk. It's like, shut up, man.
All night,
dude. It's like,
shout out to the crowd shutting that shit down, man.
Yeah, no one was going with it, but dude, this match, the death ladder match, awesome. When Kenny went out to go get the belt, I thought he had to get all three, but when he got one, it was over. I was like, all three, and then because Phoenix was coming to, it looked like he was getting into the ring. I was like, get out, but nah, it didn't happen. And I told you too, I thought there was some kind of theory. I had a theory about Pac's mask about being used in match 7, but I guess that theory didn't come true either. So
unfortunately, but you had mentioned that when you saw him.
Yeah. So seeing all these guys flying around, doing crazy stunts, crazy moves on each other, and going through tables, dude, you can't ask for more. And it was nonstop for like 15 minutes, nonstop.
The one thing I will say, actually, there's a lot to say about this match. This was the perfect match number 7 in a best of 7 series. Very unique in the way of AEW presenting a trio's best of 7. This match, from the moment that we knew it was up next till the closing moments of this match, I feel like it was just nonstop, just like smiling from ear to ear, like at least for me. Tons of holy shit moments. Just great visuals. So when I watched it back, though, I will say there's stuff that you miss when you're live. I didn't realize that, like, the slow climb from Kenny at the end, and the reason why it took him a long time to get the belt down was because he had a busted hand from the hammer spot from Pac.
Oh,
yeah. So when he was trying to climb, he couldn't put pressure on that arm, and so that's why he was climbing slow, and that's why he was reaching slow. So that was like, I missed that because there's so much going on. Like no shit, dude. There was not kidding you. There was so much going on in this match from start to finish.
I gotta watch it. Dynamite.
Go back and watch this match, dude. Because like what the cameras, what they catch and what they wanted the crowd to see, like the audience that are watching on TV, it paints a better picture of like the storyline that they were telling within the match.
For sure.
Whereas like from our vantage point, we see the whole ring, we see everything, and it was like our eyes went from one corner of like the space to the other, and it was just like bouncing back and forth. It was crazy. But yeah, shout out to the Elite. I'm pretty sure you called it with the Elite winning this one.
Yeah.
I said I was hoping that they would swerve us with Death Triangle, but shout out to the Elite. They gave us 7 incredible matches. Shout out to all 6 competitors, and man, I would love to see another best of 7 with any combination of these 6 again, dude.
It'd be dope. All right. Well, before we go off, we had some sad news. Speaking of wrestling, of Jay Briscoe and his passing.
Damn,
Zach.
Like just minutes before we hopped on, man. And we keep talking about this like every week that we do this show. It's like we're doing like a in memoriam type thing segment here on here. Like we did Ronnie Hillman, and then we had the death last week, and now there's another death. It's like, man,
sad,
this one,
man.
I don't know too many details because I haven't been on my phone since we've been doing the show, but the last I heard was a car crash.
Oh man.
Jay Briscoe, obviously one half of the ROH tag champs. Super unfortunate news. I think it was 28 years old, something like that. Man.
Damn, man.
Incredibly unfortunate.
So, yeah. 1984, 38. He was 38.
Still super
That's
young.
unfortunate. Super young, man. So,
but before we got on, there's a couple tweets from people. I guess they mentioned something on NXT because they were live tonight. Triple H sent some out, and I saw the news break because Tony Khan tweeted it out. Just mad love for Jay Briscoe. Thoughts, prayers, good vibes, positivity.
yeah.
To the family of Jay Briscoe. God, it sucks, dude.
That just goes to show that wrestling, despite Ring of Honor, AEW, it's a community, and when someone of a high caliber such as Jay Briscoe, is unfortunately lost to circumstances, it affects everybody. And as you said, Triple H came out and said some words. So I mean, my condolences to his family, to the ROH family, to anybody affected. My condolences go out to you, and hopefully they could find some peace with this.
Absolutely, man. Well said. Wrestling has lost another great one. So
another
RIP.
great one. Hopefully we don't have to bring that up anytime soon. But all right. All right. Well, that concludes our episode of Cave Sports. We appreciate you watching us live. If you're watching us live right now, or even if you're watching this recording, thanks again. Feels good to be back after missing a couple of weeks, not feeling good, and just personal circumstances that came up. But felt good to be back. So cool, everybody. Thanks, man. We're gonna sign off for tonight. Always stay on the lookout for polls and things. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We have a Facebook page as well now. The Cave, the K4V3. Look for us online, and yeah, signing out. Have a good night, everybody. This is Aubrey.
Be easy, y'all.
Be easy.